it's Jessii Vee, and in today's video I'm telling you a very creepy story about fireworks in the daytime, which, as we all know, are very rare to see. Mostly we see fireworks at night because it accentuates the beautiful bright colors, but in the daytime it means something else, and you'll find out in a moment. Before we get started, as you can see, I have a new backdrop behind me. I announced the winner in my previous video, but if you would like to win this one, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, my Jessii Vee channel, and then head over to my Instagram account. It is also Jessii Vee, and either DM me or just comment on one of my photos the panther emoji, because as you can see, I've got pink panthers behind me. If you can't find the panther emoji, comment the cat, okay? I will still let it count. But I love this background, okay? Also, we have restocked the Harry Potter facets, okay? These are essentially crystals of whatever house you're in Hogwarts. So my crystal is Gryffindor, and I love it. It's beautiful. It's on my bookshelf right now. It looks gorgeous. It's not a real crystal, but it looks like one and it's heavy like one, and they just sit perfectly on the shelf. So I'll put a link to them down below, and maybe just comment down below what house you're in as well. I want to see. I want to know. I also just want to give a huge shout out to AAT Timber A-Frame for hosting my husband and I over the past week. This is a cabin rental in French River, Ontario, and guys, I have never been somewhere more beautiful. The views from this place are fantastic. I've also never stayed in an A-frame cottage before, and it was life-changing. So if you guys are in Ontario, or maybe you're traveling here, or you're from Toronto, it is only a few hours out of the city, and it is just a great place to go this summer. So I'm gonna put a link down below to their website. Definitely check them out. Okay, so we're gonna start off this video talking about the history of fireworks. Many historians believe that fireworks originally were developed in the 2nd century BC in ancient China. It is believed that the first natural firecrackers were bamboo stalks that, when thrown in a fire, would explode with a bang because of the overheating of the hollow air pockets. Sorry. So the hollow air pockets in the bamboo would explode, creating this like big sound and like the fire to crackle. And they actually believe these natural firecrackers would ward off evil spirits. And fireworks made their way to Europe in the 13th century, and by the 15th century they were widely used for religious festivals and public entertainment. And I cannot imagine what the first people to have ever seen fireworks must have thought. Did they think the world was going up in flames? Did they think they were being hit by meteors? Did they think the gods were smiting them? Because if you don't know it's for celebrating, it could look pretty scary, especially because the first fireworks didn't have pretty colors. They were literally just exploding fire. And by the way, the coolest firework is the dragon one from Lord of the Rings. By the way, I'm also wearing a Lord of the Rings shirt right now because it's the best movie ever. Okay, so I'm gonna get into this creepypasta about fireworks during the day. There is a legend about a very small town in Canada, and it's not listed exactly where it is, but I don't think that matters because you definitely don't want to go there. The story goes that a young boy named Timothy and his family moved there because that's where his grandparents lived, and they all wanted to be close together. And it's important to know that his favorite color was green. He wore it every day, and he even demanded that his room be painted green when he moved in. And the town was surrounded by large forests and tons of wildlife. It was like living in a dream, and was nice to be out of the large cities. And on the very first day that Timothy was unpacking his stuff, he heard this very strange sound outside of his bedroom window. He thought it sounded like whistling far off in the distance, and then it was followed by a very loud pop. He began to walk over to his window to investigate, but suddenly his grandmother appeared, and she stopped him and told him to not pay any attention to any weird noises that he hears outside, which is pretty suspicious. And when he was walking to school on his first day, he heard the whistling again, coming from the depths of the forest, and then he heard another pop. This time he looked up and saw what it was. It was just a pink firework way up in the sky. Just one, and it seemed so out of place in the daytime. An instinct told him to run towards the source, wanting to see more fireworks and wondering who was setting them off at this hour. But his father stopped him, once again telling him to not pay attention to those things. But as we all know, when you tell a kid not to do something, all they want to do is that thing. Even from his desk at school, he could see fireworks going off from the forest in the distance, but they were never all at once. He would see one singular firework go off at at different intervals. Sometimes 10 minutes would go by and he would see a blue one, and then maybe 30 minutes to an hour would go by and he would see a red one. And one of his classmates saw that he was looking out the window and asked him if he'd ever heard of the Whistler. Apparently, it was an old folk tale that everyone who lived there knew about. It was an entity that lived in the forest and tricked children into following it by whistling. Apparently, kids went missing in the town all the time, and there was nothing anyone could do about it because even the authorities were afraid of following the whistling. But what do the fireworks have to do with that? Timothy asked the boy, but the boy only shrugged in return. And there was one thing that Timothy did not like, and it was the unknown. So after school, he snuck out the back doors where his parents wouldn't see him, and he ran towards the forest, hearing the whistling get louder and louder as he approached, and he stopped at the entrance looking into the dark trees, wondering if he had lost his mind. But the whistling sounded so peaceful, so enticing, so he followed it. And he walked and walked until he came across what looked like an ancient abandoned graveyard. And the whistling was coming from somewhere nearby. It almost sounded like it was coming from underground. And that's when he saw it, this large hole in the earth. And he knew right away that that's where the music was pouring out of. He leaned over the hole to see, but he couldn't get closer to see what was beneath it. So he leaned and leaned and leaned until he completely lost his balance and fell down. The last thing he saw was a large open mouth waiting for him with razor sharp teeth, and he tumbled right into it. And there was a green burst of light from his soul being released into the sky as he was swallowed whole. So it wasn't a firework. It was these missing children that are being eaten by this thing in the ground, their souls being lifted into the sky. And I guess they're different colors because you know how like we're supposed to have like auras or like a certain color that surrounds us? I guess this kid loved green, and so that was the color of his soul. But when he was seeing different colors, that was like the different souls of the children, which is awful. And guys, doesn't Disney World and Disneyland do like daytime fireworks around Cinderella's castle? I'm pretty sure they do, and that's gonna have a totally different meaning for me now, and I'm so sorry if I ruined that experience for you. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed today's creepypasta. If you want me to do more like this, give this video a thumbs up and let me know. Don't forget to check out your Harry Potter crystal facet. I've linked everything down below. But I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!